Hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. I'm TheNando, your wholesome yet fierce strategist, and I'm excited to be here and just having a nice chat, a good old relaxed chatting. It's been a couple of long streaming days with a Subathon, with a VTuber debut and everything, and I thought, well, what better way to get back into the groove of our daily life than with a simple just chatting stream, because there's a lot to talk about. And I see people in chat already. Hello War Industrialist, hello Creditos and Stephanie, welcome to the stream. And I mean, there are some topics on the thumbnail already that of things that I want to discuss, but there was also one more huge thing that happened in the last couple of days that made me super happy. Lately, days have been going great for me. Almantas has said, oh, all you needed was to become 2D, as Almantas calls it, the flattening. The transitioning from a Flash tuber into a VTuber. He did say all you needed was to become 2D to solve all your issues, and it is true. As I often complain is too much of a strong word. As I often remark, my PhD is one of the things that holds me down by quite a bit. It is something that occupies a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, a lot of my mind. Usually when I say I have time for nothing, it is in a great part because of the PhD. And lately I haven't been talking much about it because I was completely stuck. It is one thing when you are stuck in, for example, a writing part that can be due to a creative block, but that kind of stuck usually comes down to quality. Maybe if you reduce the quality of your work, you can get it flowing. It's not a hard stuck, it's a soft lock, using some gaming terminology. I was hard stuck for the past 3 months because there's only one technical issue left to solve in my PhD, and I'm from engineering. And while in other areas, sometimes, for example, you have data together from a quiz or something, and it's like, okay, how do I tackle this? Which conclusion can I take? And there's no right or wrong answers. There's more correct and less correct answers. There's better and worse methodologies. But in a lot of fields of knowledge, the dichotomy of right or wrong does not apply. And in other fields of knowledge, being wrong sometimes is an answer. It is one problem with modern science. We tend to overvalue positive answers, but proving that something does not work, proving that there's no relationship between variable A and B, is important science. You are sometimes you doing a study and concluding that you are wrong in your earlier assumptions. It is a tough blow, but it is doing science. Well, in engineering, sometimes there is, not in all engineering, but in a lot of engineering, there is right or wrong. There is correct and incorrect answers. And if it is a practical application like my PhD, it is a does it work or does it not work? And I was stuck in the it does not work for 3 months in the last part of my PhD. But alas, I had a break from the PhD because of the Subathon. And yesterday, the first day I resumed work after the PhD, after the Subathon, I had an insane breakthrough. Like, things are working. If I just need to take 1 or 2 more steps and then it will be report things, and I feel like a month and a half, and I'll be done with the PhD. Of course, there's like the defense, there's some going back and forth with the supervisors, there's some processes, so who knows, maybe my defense will only be in September or something. Things can slow down in the bureaucratic hell. But at least my workload should diminish significantly. I see the end of my PhD because of this huge breakthrough. Yes, King Ameno, hello, I was just chatting. And hello, Van, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was just chatting just to make you up to date, that yesterday I had a huge breakthrough in my PhD, and I feel close to finishing it, and that's going to be amazing for me. It's going to be great for the channel, it's going to be great for all other projects that I have. I also like writing books. I have a book waiting to be published, so I am super excited. And thanks for noticing the collection, Van. I am very, very proud. Oh, and by the way, Van, I call you Van, and I see your username as Photon. What do you prefer, Van or Photon? I'm fine with both of them. Nice, now you're officially a Doctor Strange. Yeah, I will be... I am strange, so I'll be Doctor Strange, Dr. Nando. I will be probably one of the few VTubers with a PhD, I believe. Not the only one. I know for a fact of at least 1 or 2 VTubers that do have a PhD. But also, I don't think most VTubers have a PhD. I think most of them are well educated. They can have a master's, a bachelor's, and some are younger. Some don't even have the age to finish a PhD. I mean, some... I say some, maybe most. I mean, I'm not old. I'm still 29 years old. I'm not part of the old VTubers. I only turn 30 in 16 days. So I will be considered young for 16 more days. But I am about to enter the territory of being called old. It's up to you. Either name is... Okay, I will go with Van for now, at least. As long as my memory does not play tricks on me. Sometimes it's hard, because I am a part of some communities, like the Age of Empires community, Almantas. Sometimes I show in lurk in Quorbit or Lady Saffron streams. Wilhelm van der Bos, I also often watch his streams. And I know clearly that you are from Junkenside, but sometimes I see a name and it's like, oh no, where does that name come from? Where does that specific name come from? Please no old talk or else I'll feel bad. Oh, I love old talk because for me, when I was 25 was me at my oldest. I feel like I'm getting younger every single year. Yesterday I had no Subathon and no stream and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to work out. And my body feels... I don't know what's happening. I'm getting younger and younger. This is the buff of being a VTuber. Like, I was working out and I was like, damn, I can run now. I mean, I don't like running, but I can do push-ups. Damn, I'm getting younger and younger by the minute. But yeah, PhD is going great. And now I am a VTuber and I have to say... being a VTuber is nice. Oh, let me just read King Ameno's chat. Yeah, 24 was the age that hit the most for me. I felt super old. Yeah, 25 I felt very old. I was also having a very stressed lifestyle. Now I'm much less stressed, a lot healthier. And yeah, if you feel like you are getting older, do not worry, you can also get younger. People say, oh, as someone said the other day, getting older beats the alternative. Which is not getting older, that's not good. But there is like the number go up. You cannot stop number go up. But there is how you feel, how you tackle things, how you... That is a whole different thing. And on the physical form thing, yeah, I definitely feel way more informed now that I was 21. Yeah, exactly. For example, some parts of me, like sometimes it's the mental energy, sometimes it's physical energy, and I thought, oh, I'm just getting older, number will always go up, I will never return to my prime. But no, a lot of how you feel is not associated with that number. It's more associated with your lifestyle, your choices, how you're managing, and things like that. And hello, Warrior Industrialist, welcome back. But yeah, I'm a VTuber now, and this feels great, to be honest. Like the show of support I've been having, and like how people from the VTubing world interact with me, and sometimes I show up to chat of people who I assume didn't know I'm a VTuber. Of course, I'm not going to say names, and I hear people, hey Nando, I see you in chat, I know you're a VTuber now, congratulations, and I feel like, yo, let's go! I've also been growing on the Age of Empires side of things, and we'll get to there in a bit, but this slow and steady organic growth, like feeling that you are part of one or two communities, all of that just feels so rewarding as a streamer. And I feel like, of course, every decision that you make, every rebranding, will have positives and negative outcomes. I feel like the negatives were basically non-existent. And for me, I don't know why, like, I'm comfortable with showing my face on stream, I was a Flash tuber and everything, but prepping up for a stream as a VTuber makes me feel more relaxed. Like, I don't know, it's just different. Today it felt so easy to start the stream. I don't know why, I was not expecting... I knew I would enjoy being a VTuber, I was not expecting to enjoy it this much, and one thing that does help is how I look. It's this model that Lady Saffron and Father Loris made for me. I honestly believe if I was using a different style of avatar, maybe I would feel like some kind of imposter. Maybe I would feel uncomfortable in my own skin. Sometimes there are VTubers, and that is an important question. How well does my voice match my avatar? That is an important question, and of course this is all fun. We all stream for fun, but we also all stream for quote-unquote business. And the fun factor and business factor depends on person to person. For me personally, the fun is very high and the business is also very high. I feel like I always try to be super professional, I try to be business-like. A lot of times people are surprised with how small I am and how I try to conduct myself in terms of collabs and everything. I have failed many times. I'm not saying, oh, I'm perfect, I'm super professional. Oh, I have failed many times. I cringe at things I do constantly. I do not perform 10 out of 10 every single time, but I do like cranking up both the professionalism and the fun factor to the max. I do this because I'm having fun, and I'm professional because I enjoy being professional. That's the gist of it for me. But yeah, I feel super comfortable with streaming like this, with being a VTuber. I think it is a fun twist. Van has commented on my collection there in the back that I'm very proud of, and I was like, I'm going to lose the display of my collection, and I was like, no, I can mix. I can combine the world of the 2D and the 3D to have my background. Well, I'm a VTuber, and I think that just accentuates my gremlin energy side. Today, since we are chat and chilling, I am speaking with more of a neutral tone. I'm not being too much of a gremlin, but I do have a gremlin in me. You're not a perfect 10 out of 10 all the time. Unsubscribed! No! Kradentost! Not you! Do not betray me! Or was it I, the one who betrayed you? Just sipping a little bit of that lovely tea. The best company for every stream. Oh, and today's just chatting, I'm going to ramble. Before starting to stream, I was not expecting tea to be this prevalent. Okay, what do I mean by that? I organized a tournament in the past. The only Age of Empires tournament that I have organized was the Concealed Teacup. It was tea themed. Now I look at other people in the Age of Empires world. Who do we have? Tactical Tea Time, who is tea themed. Today I was watching Wilhelm streaming. Who was he drawing? A character inspired on a drink, which was Earl Grey, my favorite tea. So I do see a lot of tea in content creation. Maybe, as they say, birds of a feather flock together. Maybe tea is not that common. I'm just attracted to tea-related content creators. We'll just find you and make you subscribe again, Kradentost. I'm drinking oolong now, and hello, dearest Corman. I've never tried oolong. Everyone says that oolong is so good. Today I was watching a stream, and the streamer was saying that he's going to drink oolong tea with peach. I think it was peach flavored, and I was like, ooh, that sounds so lovely. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that oolong is their favorite. I remember one that was quite a punch. I love Earl Grey. I love, of course, matcha, the classic. I love when I go to Thai restaurants. Yes, Thai. I love the tea that they serve with the food. In Turkey, I had some amazing tea as well in the markets. One that I remember was quite a punch. Was how was it called? Lapsang Souchong. I think that's the Lapsang Souchong. And that's a tea. Yeah, that's the name. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. I read it in chat. This tea is very smoky. It's very different. It's very... The one I had was very bitter. It does not taste like regular tea. It is something completely different, especially if you don't add anything to it. It was quite a punch, and I do like drinking whiskey, which is a surprise considering how my model looks with the kind of British elements to it. But I do love drinking whiskey, and I love the whiskeys that are very smoky, peated whiskeys and things like that. I love whiskeys with smoky flavor, so that was like, okay, you like smoky whiskeys, here's some smoky tea. And it was good. It was a surprise. Like, my first taste was like, yeah. But then after getting used to it, it was good. Have you tried pu'er? I don't know. Let me Google it. Maybe I've tried without... I need to study more tea. Because sometimes a lot of teas have different names and things like that. The tap water comment got me hard. Wait, I'm drinking a very exquisite and particular beverage which goes by the term tap water. Ah, yes, that's another topic that I love. The other day I was exploring... Oh, let me get the picture. Let me get the picture of that. I was exploring, and I talked about that on my Discord, some underground aqueducts. Like old underground aqueducts, and you could drink water from them. Let me grab the picture here. One moment. Oh, I can do it in a better way. Ah, this will work. Yes, pro streamer. And now if I just go... here. Yes, this is one of the pictures I took. It does look a bit ominous, and I was exploring like underground, no light. I had a flashlight, that's why you see the circular light, and I did comment on my Discord. Oh, and I tasted the water. It was lovely, and people were like, "Is that a joke?" No, it wasn't. I did drink water from here. It did have a plaque saying appropriate for consumption, and it was super fresh. And here in Portugal, most tap water is very safe, and even in the public streets, depending on where you live, there's often signs saying water uncontrolled, if you have no idea, water not safe for human consumption, or water safe for human consumption. And the ones that have safe for human consumption are tested periodically and are trustworthy. And yes, our water, Portuguese water, is very good. But when I do go to other countries, I always make sure, okay, let me Google beforehand, how's the water situation? Can I drink tap water? Because we do take it for granted, because everyone here drinks tap water. Not everyone, but a lot of people. And it's super safe. And then we forget, oh, I'm no longer in my country. Oh, I will tell you in DMs later, Stephanie. I just don't want to tell to everyone, oh, I was in this place. Yeah, uncontrolled water can be super dangerous. If you're traveling abroad, please inform yourself. For example, when I was in Texas, exactly, the region I was in Texas was safe, the water, but the specific timing I was there was a warning like, okay, our water supply is having a little bit of problem, do not drink tap water. And I just got a bottle of water, and there were safe places to refill. It's not, like tap water is not the same as a water refill station, and there were water refill stations that I used. But they did warn, and I did pay attention, do not drink tap water during this period. We are going through a tough bit, so be on the lookout. But okay, water done, let's get back to tea. Fu-er is a fermented green tea. It has a really strong taste and it shouldn't be brewed for a long time, but you'll still want it to be somewhat concentrated. Ooh, I am curious. I need to try more teas and I need to start taking notes. That reminds me, this is a fun story. I have a friend of mine who started a group, and I don't think he's in chat right now. If he was, he knew the story right away. I have a friend of mine who started a group of water tasting. They gather around, I don't know how many people are part of the group, maybe 4 or 5, and they gather a bunch of different waters, bottled waters like from Northern Europe, from Portugal, from Spain, from France, and it's like, oh, let's do like if it was a wine tasting where we do some annotations on the flavor and give it a score, maybe do some blind tasting and everything, but I do it on bottled water. And I found that to be such a gimmicky yet cool idea. The idea of doing taste tests for water, because waters are different between each other. Oh, and water tasting could be a fun stream. I was thinking more along the lines of tea tasting, but I feel like tea tasting should be more done a long time. Maybe I should go out of my way to try more different teas, then take some notes, and then one day present my results like, I've drank all the teas, this is what I discovered. Super clickbait a ton of arrows. Oh, I find it super funny, the water tasting thing. I find it both funny and a very cool gimmick. I think it's... And I do like when people go out of their way. And for example, if you're doing, I don't know, potato chip testing, then it's like, okay, this is unhealthy. If I can get, maybe I can do it once every X days, or else, for example, if you're doing wine tasting, a lot of wines you need to speed it because you don't want to get completely wasted. Water tasting is probably one of the healthiest tasting activities there is. I think it is probably peak healthy hobby to be doing water tasting sessions with your friends. But yeah, I was exploring that underground aqueduct, just reminded me of that story because we were talking about waters, and I do love exploring and going to random places. I've been on, like, sometimes I need to share more stories. I once was on a desert island, and the man who was taking us off the desert island almost had an accident and we almost got stuck there. I've also been, I was very young, but I've been trapped in the middle of a forest fire as well. There's quite a... I've walked like there were some serious alerts that I missed, and like I've walked through a storm in the seaside, and when I say storm, if I looked at the wind, I couldn't breathe at all. I had to like walk backwards. My umbrella got completely shredded. I did not jump. I felt like if I jumped, I would fly away. I think the winds, I don't want to say a number because I don't know how specific. I've had, even though I am the guy who stays at home and stream, I'm a VTuber, yes, I'm also kind of an adventurer. I can differentiate, and there is some countries with horrible tasting water. Yeah, in France, I think I've been to Paris as well. I think a lot of Portuguese people, when they arrive to Paris, it's not that their water tastes bad, it's that it's completely different from what we are used to. Our water is more acidic, I think, and theirs are more alkaline. And yeah, if you go from Portuguese water into Paris water, you will know right away that there's a difference in taste in waters. That's a very radical example of different tastes. But okay, we've talked about VTubers, we've talked about water. Now that's a fun stream topic, a conversation about water. Now I want to talk a little bit, please indulge me, because this is my topic. Where's the button? Where's the button? Here's the button. Yes, T90 Titans League Community Cup. And what is this? This is a good opportunity for me to explain to chat, because Friday I will be covering this event, and T90 is one of the biggest names in Age of Empires. Not one of the best players, but one of the most famous casters and organizers. He's a very well-beloved name in the community. And his community started organizing tournaments. I've been a part of these tournaments since the first one, and I find them super enjoyable. Whenever I'm competing here in this channel, it is in one of these tournaments, and a new one is about to start. And in previous editions, I was like, I'm going to do my best. This one I want to win. I have different approaches to different tournaments. This one, TTLC, I want to do my best. I will try to win this. And behind the scenes, we have access to all of this technical stuff. It explains how, like, rules of conduit. This is very serious. And the goal of these tournaments is to, for example, when I'm playing ranked ladder, I play against one player, then another random player. We play the same maps. We each can pick our civ. And if you watch pro play, it doesn't work that way. Players scout each other. There's an element of picking and banning bans. There's a mental aspect. For example, if you're losing 1-0 against a player, it's one thing to lose a ranked game. Oh, I lost my puntos. Next game, different opponent. It's another thing to think, oh, I'm down 1-0. I need to come back. This is the same opponent. Or maybe, okay, I crushed my opponent. I need to keep the pressure on. There's a whole different mental aspect. And I do like the competitive nature of strategy games. And this just exacerbates the competitive nature. And in these tournaments, like, a lot of people ask me, oh, you've won 2 of them. Yes, I have won 2 of them. Does that mean you're one of the best players in the community? No. Because what they do in these tournaments for them to be pleasant is that they divide us into different brackets. And for example, if you're an Obsidian player, this is the highest tier of this tournament, it means you're top of the top. You will only play against opponents from the Obsidian tier. You do see here the strongest player is T90, the admin. He's not super strong at the pro level, but at the community level, he is the leading name here. And on the other hand, we have the third tier with players with 300 elo, 400 elo. These are players who have very little experience with the game. And that is very interesting, because you're only competing with players around your same level, so you can try to go for the win every single time. And also, okay, maybe I will not be crowning champion, like complete champion, because total champion would be to win the Obsidian tier, and I'm not Obsidian. But from tournament to tournament, you do make the climb. And in my first tournament, I would be the equivalent of a brick. This sounds funny. The names do change of the tiers. I would be brick in my first tournament that I played. And let me see if I see some familiar names here. I remember Jazzercised. I remember... Who else? Oh, Ramranik is also quite no name in the community. And this is what we see behind the scenes. We see these sheets, and the admins will upload them over time. Top 2 of each player makes it to the winner's bracket, and then there will be a champion for each tier. Well, if you look at the Obsidian tier, the highest one, you have T90, you have Yomi. I've casted Yomi quite a bit on my channel. Mercurial as well. Noah, a lot of strong players. If you go to the copper tier, Orico, X-Raven, Mamb. Mamb is a huge name in the Age of Empires community. I know Pig, Shellbird, Sally as well, another quite famous names. Are all bracket titles names of rocky things or tiers? Basically, there was this event, T90 Titan League, and this is I think this was the 4th edition if I'm not mistaken. And players play on a league system, and there's like the Silver League, Gold League, Platinum League, and like the winner of the highest league, which I think is Platinum, if I'm not mistaken, is like the winner of a S-tier tournament. I won't spoil who it was, but I was happy with the results, and it finished this weekend, the Pro League. Now they slapped a C on the front of the logo because it is the Community Edition, and since they have gold, silver, and such, well, we have other materials for for the community side, and it goes all the way down to dirt, mud, ash, pebble, stone, brick, iron, tin, lead, copper. And yeah, obsidian and copper are super strong tiers, but if we go to the third one, lead, and if we go to group number C, I mean letter C, here's the Nando, your host here, the VTuber of the tournament. And I've played John Perkins in the past. Lori, I've played a show match. Eden has co-casted with me. Yeah, Group C of the lead tier, the top 4 players are casters, and I'm very excited. Sir Python, for those of you who've been around the channel for a long time, in the first T90 community tournament, I won, and I got placed into a free-for-all match. And T90 uploaded it into his channel. It was, "Why you put nuke in my face?" That was my sentence. I got famous for the "why you put nuke in my face." And in that free-for-all, I got second place. And first place was Silver Python. So we will maybe meet again. But yeah, my group is very strong, and I will have to study my opponents, I will have to draft, I will have to train, I will have to practice if I want to do well in this tournament. It was Knights Group B that I was. And yes, I'm Ronaldo. Ronaldo is the best Portuguese soccer player. I'm the Go player of Portugal. And hello, Arbase! I'm talking about some things that you may understand a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I was talking about this yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, Monday. It was the official start of this tournament. Airbase, who is one of the most one of the admins of the tournament, invited me to be part of the inauguration of the event. I was there with Airbase. It was a very fun stream. Airbase's boss, T90, was watching the stream as well, and it was super fun. And for me, I was talking about me getting validated in the Age of Empires community. It felt like a great moment. And hello, Yomi! Yeah, the boss, T90. I will always call T90 your boss. And hello, Yomi, welcome to the stream. I was just talking about your tier. And good luck, Yomi. I will try to cast some of your matches. Yeah, playing against T90 is not going to be easy at all. Yeah, we also have Phoebius Apollo here. Maxi is going to have quite a different, quite a difficult challenge ahead of him. And yes, Gambatte kudasai, Yomi-san. Oenshite imasu. Yeah, we are Yomi fans here on the channel. But yes, if we go through the tiers, there's so many names that we've covered already. I prepare for the thing, let's go! If you can beat the thing, you can win this. Yeah, if we go to the tier below me, we have Jaloping Chris, Jag Warrior, and as I said, it feels amazing to grow from tournament to tournament. Jaloping Chris used to be that player that I looked and, oh, look at the top, it's Jaloping Chris on the top of the brackets. Now I'm ahead of Jaloping Chris. I'm very close to catching up to Lori. John Perkins is always at the same tier than me. Me and John Perkins have the same growth. For example, Jag Warrior is another player who has an amazing climb. Yeah, Chris will have a harder time. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with having such a characteristic playstyle. Yeah, Jaloping Chris versus Jag Warrior. I do realize, sorry, I'm showing some spoilers here below, but I mean, that just shows how well the admins are performing. They are already updating the stats here. And yeah, Jalping Chris versus Jaguar will be an amazing match. And I see Lori in the chat. And yes, me and Lori did a show match. He defeated me. So now we'll have to prep accordingly because we will play again. Not only are we in the same bracket, we are in the same group. What are the odds? So I will not be revealing my strategies because Lori is here. But yes, this tier also has... we're on addictive break time. Ah, yes, he's casting Dizzy. I already know the result of that set because Dizzy was, after the set, was like talking to me and reporting her performance. I will not spoil it, do not worry. But yeah, you're on Addictive Me break time, and here's Addictive Me on the tin. Oh no, he plans to come in strategy. I have said this to chat before we were here. You were here. I want to win this one. And I want to win this one for like 10 different reasons. And if I do not win this one, I will... Like, I want to go out like... I failed, but I have given my best. In WWCC, I lost, and I can say I give my best shot. So in this tournament, I either want to win, ideal scenario, or if I lose, I want to say I lost because I put up my best shot against Lori, I put up my best shot against Eden, I played my best, I did my prep work, I planned strategies, but they were better than me. If that happens, I will also be satisfied. So I will try to bring in my A game. I dropped 2 ladder games against John Perkins yesterday. Damn. I've played against John Perkins almost all tournaments. Me and John Perkins have something that we always get paired in tournaments. I've played him in the semi-finals, I've played him in group stages. I always fight against John Perkins. At this point, I think we will be fated rivals. Yeah, step over the Viper and Hera. The Nando and John Perkins are the true rivalry. Let me go over the other tiers. Everyone I used to get paired with is a bracket higher than me. Yeah, and I was lower than you, Lori. Sorry, I caught up with you. Yeah, it feels great for me. It doesn't feel that great to... That's my secret. You were coaching me in chat, Lori. I'm like, I need to get stronger than Lori. That's how you beat all the... I mean, everyone in chat coaches Hera, so I don't think that's that efficient of a strategy. But yeah, I've played against Hagen as well. One day I will conquer the tilt and self-deprecation. You have to use my strategy. I'm on the other side. I try to tilt my opponents and I'm overconfident sometimes. I am on the other side of the tilt. I don't think overconfident loses me the games. What loses me games, and I need to stop that, is I feel like I'm ahead, and I'm not even confident or anything, but my brain shuts down. I go into... it's like white noise in my brain. And then suddenly I'm losing. I am overconfident, that's why I tilt when I see what I do wrong. Yes, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, as they say. We have Barry Tastester here, Perilous Penguin. If you go to the brick tier, we have, let me see, I think I remember player 2. Jazzercise, I do remember Jazzercise. I think Jazzercise beat me in a tournament, I'm not sure. I could be mixing up the names. Ramranik, of course. If you go to Stone, we do have Pride and Pygmy Giant, who is often here in chat. Zeratu, Zelda Squad. This is another Odonkir. Stone? There's a lot of names we know here in the channel, in the Stone tier. This is an interesting one. And Sokol, I saw his casting the other day for the first time. I need to drop by his channel more times. I had a really fun time watching Sokol casting. He's a Brazilian caster, so we do have the Portuguese language bond. this is one of the casters that I'm like, damn, I wish I had more time. Why are there so many cool names in both the VTubing world and the Age of Empires world? I can't watch them all. That's why I never judge people for not dropping by to my streams. There's so many streams I want to watch, but I don't have time to. I would be a massive hypocrite if I judged anyone for not showing up to one of my streams. Yeah, here in the Pebble, we have Math Magician, Wait What, Grape Juice, Tactical Tea Time. He's been here on the channel as well. I think he's streaming right now. There's like 5 I want to watch right now. Yeah, I opened my Twitch tab, and there were so many casters that I know. It felt like you said it yourself, Arbase, on the chat. This TTLC started off to a banger of a start, and yes, I'm not casting TTLC tonight, but because I need cool down and relax from my subathon. But Friday I will be casting TTLC. Oh hey, Addictive is back. Say hi to Addictive for me. If you drop by in his chat, do tell him Nando says hi. And we have Bergwin here in Group C. Maestro. Player number 5 of Group D is also an iconic name. If we keep going down, we have Salat Noor in chat. I was talking with him the other day. He's part of the T90 Patreons. D1100, often here on the channel as well, often here in chat. Yeah, these tournaments are really cool. I remember memes with Monkey Juggler, and I remember I told this story before. The first time Tactical Tea Time casted this player, he saw, oh, it is capitalized in a different way. I'm going to call him Limey. And he was doing an effort to always call this player Limey. Limey86, Limey. And then Limey showed up in chat, and he's like, why are you calling me Limey? It's lime. It's the fruit, lime. And I laughed so hard that Guilty Time was like, I'm doing all of this effort. The capitalization, it is limey. And no, lime, it's a fruit, like a lemon, but more green and better in some dishes. Has seasoning. Yeah, and for example, sometimes some players need to miss out on some of these tournaments. For example, Mortis is not here. Mortis would probably be either lead or copper. Because he did say he was busy, but maybe he shows up in the next one. And it's good to see some names that go away, some that come back. And we do have here Princess Dizzy. Dizzy, who has casted with me many times here on the channel. No longer in the bottom tier, she's in the mud tier. So climbing up the ranks. Have, I think, Druv, I think that's how you say his name. Here also quite a popular name. Yeah, a showdown between me and Mortis. I like to see that as well. I've seen Chris Baggins and Sir Kill-A-Lot and Kiki the Foxvoid as well. Yeah, Dizzy is participating. Let's go Dizzy. A lot of Dizzy fans here. And yeah, I didn't coach Dizzy for this, but I was giving her some mental tips like, do not pity your opponents. Crush Dizzy. Crush or be crushed. Do not step on the brakes, because I do know Dizzy sometimes is too kind for Age of Empires. It's like, show no kindness. This is war. This is a war game. And finally, in the dirt tier, we have Griffin, the lowest tier elo player on the entire tournament. So huge shout out to Griffin. We have Failed Fanboy. I don't know if King Amenu is still here, but I think he would appreciate this player. But yeah, I wanted to, since this is a just chatting stream, we have more time. I wanted to show you, like, instead of, okay, I'm going to cast this tournament, this is how it works, blah, blah, blah. Usually it's very rushed over. I wanted to let you see how cool it is to navigate these spreadsheets that Arbase created. And for example, this week on Sunday, I will be playing against Eden. We already scheduled. And on Tuesday next week, I will be playing against Ganji. Yeah, you want Dizzy and the Phil. And lucky for you, all three of us are in different brackets. So it is possible for Phil, Fanboy, Dizzy, and TheNando to all be champions. If T90 wins the first bracket, and Memb wins the second bracket, and I win the third bracket, which will be very hard, it would be a caster sweep. So I'm going to try to aim for that, but when I say I want to win this, I am aware that I can play my A game and still go out. That's how strong this bracket is. Like, if Maxi, who is super solid, is seed number 17, that just shows you how strong this bracket is. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And I'm seed 11. I'm dead center of the bracket. Not one of the favorites to win, but also not one of the players who is expected to go out early, but we'll see. We'll see how things go around here. Let me go back to this screen. And what other topics did I want to talk about? And by the way, of course, I am the streamer. I am the one in charge. I mean, look at this. Look at this menacing aura. But if you have any questions, if you want to know more details about how does this work, how does that work, do feel free to interrupt me and pose your questions in an educated manner. S'il vous plaît. Let me get a sip of tea. Okay, but another topic that I did want to talk about was Dark Souls. Why do I want to talk about Dark Souls? Because Dark Souls has always been one of my favorite games of all time, and because of Zerzon, I have Dark Souls brain rot all over the place. And I have realized by playing Dark Souls that, for example, sometimes I need to do different streams, like this one, like Civilization and everything, to have a break, have a change of pace. It is needed. Variety is the spice of life, as they do say it. And I've usually, like, okay, I'm not streaming Age of Empires, I'm streaming StarCraft, I'm streaming Europa Universalis, I'm streaming Civilization. My breaks from strategy have been strategy, other strategy games. And playing Dark Souls was so refreshing, in a way. It was so easy to make content out of Dark Souls. I've had a lot of people telling me, I don't know how you stream Age of Empires. Not the casting aspect, but the playing aspect. It is so hard, how can you do it? And I mean, for me, that has always been a normality. Like, how do you know if a water tastes well or not, if it's the only water you've had? That has been my relationship with Age of Empires. It is what I have. I don't know if it's easy or hard. It is what I do. Streaming Dark Souls was so easy. So I will stream Dark Souls from time to time to relax. It felt really relaxing. Even though the game is known for being quite stressful, compared to Age of Empires, it was so chill. It was so easy to produce produce Dark Souls content, because the game, for example, Age of Empires, for someone who doesn't understand the game, is very confusing. There's a lot of things you gotta explain, there's a lot of action. Dark Souls is very intuitive. It's, for example, when people watch FIFA or Gran Turismo or Counter-Strike, the concepts are much more intuitive because they are closer to things that we know from reality. People understand FIFA because people understand football. People understand Gran Turismo because people know what races are. It's closer to our common sense. But if we strip away our RTS brains, how many hours we have in Souls games and things like that, in Age of Empires, in strategy games, even compared to something like League of Legends, which can be hard to understand, I feel like Age of Empires is very confusing for new viewers. It's very hard. It's not the hardest game to understand. We do have spreadsheet simulators like Paradox games, but Age of Empires is not intuitive on the viewers, and sometimes you as a content creator need to synergize a lot with the game. Well, in Dark Souls, the game itself creates so much action, so much tension. Like, you don't need to guide the narrative, you don't need to think about what to say. you can be more of this is a very negative buzzword, but you can be more of a reactive content creator. You usually talk about react content, then you are reacting to your own content. But I feel like Dark Souls allows you to be much more reactive. I don't need to like think, oh, do I talk about this? Do I create hype? Do I create tension? How am I going to manage the storytelling as a streamer? I don't need to think of any of that. The game itself does it for me. I reached this part, now it's hard. I've beaten this challenge, now I celebrate. And I feel like the pacing of the game and how I play it and everything makes for really good content. And I have some ideas for future challenges. I want to play Elden Ring as well, but I am going to save Elden Ring for after I finish the PhD. While I'm not finishing the PhD, I will consume more Dark Souls, and I'm thinking maybe work my way up until I can beat Dark Souls without a single death. I think that would be quite a cool achievement, and I am someone, as you can see from Age of Empires, as you can see from all of that thing, my elo climb, I am someone who likes to strive towards achievements. Oh, let me just read chat. Grantos, you've been enjoying the Dark Souls streams. Yeah, and even I've heard of people who put it on the television and things like that. I think it's a good stream to have in the background, or it's entertaining. I never played any Soulsborne, but it seems like watching other people playing them is kind of fun. Yeah, I agree. Especially those that are already kind of know the game. Yeah, if you want to watch someone who knows the game, you can watch me. If you want to watch someone who doesn't know the game, you can watch Almantas. I was rushing my playthrough. I was like, oof, I want to, in these 5 hours, I want to go further than Almantas in his entire Subathon. So I was playing really hard, and now I'm watching his Subathon again. I'm like, oh, I didn't need to rush. Almantas is very good at the game. A lot of his chat has said it, and it is true. But he does play the game in a peculiar way. Yeah, it is. I agree, it is incredible. The other day, it was night. I should be going to bed because I have streams to prepare. I have a PhD to do. And I was glued to Almantas' stream. It was like, at first I was frustrated. And for people who have played Dark Souls and you tune into Almantas' stream, you will know what I mean by frustration. But now it kind of gets hypnotic into kind of a daze. It feels like I'm fever dreaming watching him play Dark Souls. It is a peculiar experience. But yeah, other than Dark Souls, another... Yeah, oh, no, still on Dark Souls. I'm thinking most weeks to do 1 Dark Souls stream and 2 Age of Empires streams. I feel like I'm at a point now where I can do 3 streams per week on most weeks, based on how things are going with the other aspects of my life. I'm thinking 2 AoE streams and 1 Dark Souls stream per week. I'm thinking, for example, Dark Mondays. Always have Dark Souls on Mondays, because Monday is the day of darkness. So having Dark Souls Mondays seems like a good idea. And the other 2 streams, one will always be Age of Empires, and the other will alternate between Age of Empires and other stuff. And that ties in perfectly, because I'm a great speecher. I prepared everything perfectly. Talking about different content, I did a subathon. We did reach the first goal of the subathon, which was to do a karaoke stream. And I'm still going to announce it officially, but I'm aiming for the 14th of March to be the karaoke stream. Which means Friday next week. So probably next week will be Monday Dark Souls, Wednesday Age of Empires casting TTLC, and Friday karaoke stream. And I am not a good singer, so the karaoke will be fun. It will not be good, it will be fun. That is the goal. But yeah, talking about the subathon and VTubing and everything, as you can see, for example, in how my chat looks, how I look, how the background look, how my intro and end screen look, how the Be Right Back screen looks, a lot of things have changed in the channel. And sometimes it's good to break the inertia. Sometimes change, the hardest part of change is not the change itself, it's breaking the inertia of change. And I feel like a lot of things changed for the better. Some of them I still need to improve, but I feel like a lot of things have improved, and it makes me want to improve more. For example, I've always heard some people say, and I agree with that point of view, that often people who have time for nothing are people with a lot of free time. For if you are very busy, you know how to occupy your time and you know how to find time for one more thing. If you're doing change, it is easier for you to do change. It is easier, I mean, the laws of inertia are known. It is easier to keep the status of one thing. If it's in motion, it wants to stay in motion. If it is resting, it wants to stay resting. Let me just adjust my sitting position. And with that, I mean that one thing that I've been talking a lot about many times has been Twitch. As a content creator and as a streamer, Twitch always needs to be on the front of my mind. But I've considered switching to Twitch in the past, like do a full switch, and now I don't think that way anymore. I do not want to do any change that hinders my YouTube channel. I like the YouTube vibes here. What I am considering for further changes, and this was greatly inspired by the Subathon, we'll get there in a minute, is to do multi-streaming. I will have both chats up, I have confirmed that I can do that, and I would have my streams on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. And I'm thinking, for example, karaoke, this just chatting, these streams that I feel are more... intimate is too strong of a word. More... different, more individualized, more peculiar. I would do them YouTube only, and for example, my Age of Empires castings, my Dark Souls, would probably be on both at the same time, with both chats showing up. Because yeah, the Subathon went great according to my expectations. I did a lot of things right, in my opinion, but I also did a lot of things wrong. And this is... when I talked about Age of Empires tournaments, it's one thing. Oh, I failed because I didn't do my best. It's frustrating. No, I feel no frustration at all about my Subathon. I did my best for my Subathon. I'm completely... for my Subathon and my debut, I'm very happy with how things went. But since it was such a pressure time, it also showed me a lot of things that I could do better. And I think multi-streaming and having... my streams showing up on Twitch as well can be one step that helps me a lot. And if it doesn't help, the cost is also minimal and reverting back is easy. That's why I don't want to compromise YouTube, because this is... I'm already satisfied with how things are over here. I need to try to add to this, or at least keep this being as good as it is. Twitch does open my visibility to other viewers, and Twitch's live browsing features are better than YouTube, so I wonder how this step will go. And what else did I wanted to talk about on this topic? Yes, content creation, collabs. I'm going to do more solo casts. This Friday will be a solo cast. Oh, let me just read Kratos's comment before I move on. Subathons are an alien custom to me even after you've done one. I feel like yours just touched a bit on the potential of sub. Yeah, and mine was a different one, because Subathons are usually a call to action from the viewers. Subathons is you guys pay for more content, basically. Mine was not like that. People who support me had no way to support me further, other than telling the friends to subscribe. So it was a different Subathon. I was already marching against the grain. I was already doing something that is not common. I was using a buzzword for what that buzzword was not created. So that was already a drawback that was there from the start. And I want to talk about more stuff. This won't be a super long stream. When I'm just chatting, I prefer to go with the flow, and I talk a lot, so if I try to go for too long, my voice does complain. My resistance is a lot better as a streamer, but in just chattings, you do end up chatting quite a bit. So before moving on to some of the next points, and if you have any question or any point you want me to touch, do think about it. But I'm going to go for a 4-minute break, 5-minute break, 3 maybe, who knows, who knows. I'm going to do a small break and I'll be right back. And hello, hello. Hope I didn't jump scare you, but I'm back. Okay, before the break, and I hope you had a lovely break staring at my wonderful collection on the bookshelf, I was about to go to the topic of collabs. Because one thing I've noticed since becoming a VTuber, I've also been more active on social media and things like that, and I've noticed more eyes on me. In a good way. That's what you want as a streamer. And of course, sometimes the numbers that you see, how many viewers are watching live and everything, does not reflect like the influence or size or scale of a streamer. I know streamers who are super influential, super important, they do amazing content, they are very well-known names, and if you tune into a random stream of theirs, the numbers maybe do not reflect that. But I have noticed since becoming a VTuber that more people know me, which is good. I've been getting more known in the Age of Empires world and in the VTuber world. And that is also one thing that motivates me to produce better content. Because I want to produce better content first and foremost for myself. Because I'm someone who gets very proud of a job well done. Then I also want to produce good content for my regulars and for any new viewer who drops by. But it's also good to impress those you admire. I always feel like it's rewarding. For example, in school, when you solve something super complicated and you're like, teacher, look, I solved very complicated problem. A part of me still has that mentality. I like to impress those I admire. Nowadays it's not professors, it's other content creators and things like that. So I do want to uphold my quality standards of my stream to, okay, if T90 is lurking, I doubt he is right now, he will be satisfied with the quality of my content. If Memp is watching, he would be satisfied. That's the point I want to reach. And yeah, I do notice more eyes on me from the VTuber world and everything. But that also brings me to an interesting point on collabs. Which is, I try to be super professional. And sometimes, imagine Kratos is a content creator. I say Kratos because he's here chatting right now. Imagine you are a content creator. And I absolutely love your content. And I find out that you absolutely love my content. Well, depending on the type of content that we do, a collab could be a thing made in heaven or something horrible. Just because I have appreciation for your content and you have appreciation for mine, doesn't mean like that a collab is the immediate go-to step, in my opinion. Because a lot of streaming is a business, it is about branding, and sometimes, even though we have mutual respect, we are not compatible as a brand. And I think a lot of the more mature content creators, and when I say mature, I do not mean age. There are mature content creators that are 20 years old, and there are childish content creators who are 40 years old, maybe. But when you are a mature content creator, I think you understand that friendship is friendship and business is business. And that's why I collab so much with people in the AoE world. It becomes easier. And sometimes I find myself watching a content creator and I'm like, oh, I really like this person, I would love to do a collab. But about what? How would it make sense and not feel forced? Of course, sometimes you can just do just chatting if both of you have a matching personality type and things like that. There's no one rule fits all. But I will be on the lookout, and by that I also want to say that I've been collabing a lot with the same people. I want to break out of the status quo. I will be seeking collabs with new people. I wanna try exploring that option, both inside the Age of Empire world and outside of the Age of Empires world. I want to leave more of my comfort zone, because my comfort zone has become quite big, and that's good. There's a lot of, for example, tactical tea time is within my comfort zone. Rbase, my first stream with Rbase, I was so scared. Rbase is important, Rbase is intimidating. Rbase is a big name. Now, Rbase is part of my comfort zone. Dizzy is part of my comfort zone. Almantas and Junken are part of my comfort zone. And that makes it so that I will have to do extra effort to go out of my comfort zone because it has grown quite a bit. But I want to keep it expanding. Zoom, I think it's important to not force... Yes, if people don't match, it's okay to not collab. Yes, and the same thing goes the other way. This is a joke I was thinking of during the break. I will sound super serious, so you think I'm talking serious, but I'm not. For example, sometimes you think you won't match with another content creator. I can give you a very concrete example. I, TheNando, am one of the best Age of Empires players in the platform. I am amazing, I am incredible. On the other hand, you have Dizzy, whose skill is... questionable. Yeah, questionable. And you would think, oh, such a professional player collabing with someone with such a questionable skill will not be a match. Well, turns out we kinda do good streams together. No one would expect it, because yeah, it is a super pro gamer and easy. But we do get along fine, so this goes both ways. Sometimes you expect a collab to be great and it turns out to be horrible. And sometimes it could be just a bad day, or sometimes two people can both be amazing but their styles on camera just don't mesh. Sometimes it goes the other way. You think, for example, I'm a very chill guy, and so I get along with chill people for the most time. Tactical Tea Time is a kind of person. This is my 10 out of 10 Tactical Tea Time impersonation. And we can stream well together, and I feel like, for example, someone who is very outspoken and shouting a lot can do a good stream with me. Sometimes it's like, sometimes you think, how am I going to phrase this? I'm thinking, okay, sometimes you think oranges only go well with bananas because they are both fruits. Well, turns out if you add chocolate to either one of them, it's also amazing. So you don't need to just mix fruits with fruits. Sometimes chocolate is the secret that you need. Or sugar. Or cinnamon. Yeah, that was my TTT soundboard. I press a button here. Yeah, this is my TTT soundboard. This skill is questionable because no one really knows how to count elo that high. How can you say he has questionable skill when her elo is over 9,000? True. She's probably watching another stream right now, but if she knew how much, I need to clip it and send it to her. She'll be like, why you little? But yeah, I do agree. Collabs are something that should not be forced and something that should be tackled with professionalism. For example, you meanie, yes, Dizzy uses that expression a lot. I have a lot of friends, for example, who I think would do great in producing content with me, but they never produce content and they don't have the professionalism, and it's so easy to slip up on camera. So even though they are friends and everything, I do not believe they are a good strategic choice for content. And that's the kind of... I want to be someone who is responsible. I don't want... If something goes wrong, I don't want to say, it went wrong, it's not my fault. No, I am accountable for my channel, and of course there are things that are beyond my control. Here I can't control everything, but when I can control, I want to do my effort for things to go well. If things go wrong, I don't want it to be because of my negligence or lack of preparation or bad decision making. Because things will always go wrong. Always. No matter how much you prepare. But you can have heavy conscience or you can have light conscience, because you can think, okay, things went wrong, but I did what I could. And I am someone who sleeps very well at night. For all the hours that he needs, I'm a very good sleeper. That's the one thing. maybe I'm not the only VTuber with a PhD. Maybe I'm not the only VTuber who touches grass. I feel like maybe I'm the only VTuber who sleeps well. I am probably one of the few VTubers with a healthy sleep schedule. And one thing that helps my sleep is to not have weight under my conscience, and I want to keep it like that. Sleeping good, yeah, it is such a good skill. I know people like, I'm talking in a light mood, but I know people who really have problems with sleeping, and it is a curse. It is a superpower. It is, my sleep schedule changed a little bit for the Subathon, now it's back to normal. I sleep 8 hours every single night, like, no problem. I go to bed, I fall asleep, I wake up 8 hours later. I can sleep, for example, if I'm more tired, if today I sleep 7 hours, today I sleep 9 hours, and it evens out. And it is a superpower. Even, for example, when I have things causing me discomfort, like noise or heat or something, it does cause discomfort for a bit, but then I fall asleep. The last time I remember having huge problems falling asleep, but that was different, was very heavy allergic crisis, like almost going into an anaphylactic shock, but I mean, that was an extreme. My whole body was red and itchy. It was not a good experience. That was the last time I remember struggling to fall asleep. If things are normal, I am a heavy sleeper, and I fall asleep easily, and I'm very hard to wake up. Like, I'm the kind of person that you almost need to punch me to wake me up. You can have music playing. Oh, I have a good story about that. This is just chatting is the perfect time to share stories. Once I went to a hackathon, one of those events where you have like 24 hours to develop a solution. It could be more code related, sometimes has a little bit of hardware involved. Like 24 hours, this is your problem, find a solution for it. I went there with friends without knowing what I was going into. If I knew what that was, I heard a name, I never heard that name before. If I knew what that was, I would never have gone. I had a good time there, but it is not my kind of thing. And yeah, that is an event where you're supposed to work for 24 hours. It's kind of like a competition. Depending on the scale, sometimes you may have access to career opportunities and things like that. Not the kind of thing for me. I want to stream, I don't want career opportunities. But yeah, somehow I found myself there. The food was good. I worked, I didn't only eat. But yeah, nighttime arrived. And I was like, I do not do 24 hours awake. Nah. I do not do that. And I found, I was like scouting, like, ooh, where can I find a good place to sleep? The Nando requires EPs. Yeah, they offered food. That was why it was nice. The food was the best, and the food was very good. But yeah, I was like, I need to sleep. I cannot work. I'm someone who does not, my mind does not work when I'm tired. People who pull out all-nighters and everything, I'm like, wow, I'm amazed. If I try to, even for university, study for a test or something, no. My brain, I literally cannot think. My brain turns to mush. I cannot go 24 hours straight without sleeping. Never did, never managed to do it. I've tried, even. Now at my current age I will never try it. I've tried, I've never succeeded. But yeah, I was there and I was like, yeah, sleepy time. I found a room that was full of beanbags. That's the English name, beanbags. Room was very dark and it was full of beanbags. And I was like, oh yes, a place for me to sleep. And I jump into a big beanbag and I fall asleep. Around 5 hours later, I didn't sleep for my 8 hours. Around 5 hours later, what do I find? I wake up and it was very bright and a lot of noise. So, what was the context? Turns out those beanbags would be distributed for people to sleep. Where I was sleeping was a place for recreation that was a basketball field. They took the beanbags out of there and left me there. They were like, oh, there's a guy sleeping here. I didn't wake up with the movement of all the beanbags. They turned on the lights. People were playing basketball. And I slept for 5 hours there. I don't know for how long people were playing basketball while I was sleeping. But I woke up and people were like playing basketball and they look at me like, oh, that's normal. We are used to this guy sleeping here in the corner. So, yeah. People moved beanbags around, turned on the lights, started playing basketball, and I was sleeping there in the middle, like head against the beanbag, face down. I was sleeping there in the middle of a basketball court. And hello, Zumo. What a story. Zumo, no, Zerzon. What a story that you have arrived into. And I woke up. It was around 5 a.m. I went to sleep at midnight. I woke up it was 5 a.m. My friends were still working or pretending to work. And I was starving. I'm also a good eater. I'm a good sleeper and a good eater. And there was bacon. Oh. There was also fried eggs, like scrambled eggs. That's the English name, scrambled eggs. Oh. There was also donuts. Oh. So I go there. I wake up. I go grab a plate, fill it with bacon, scrambled eggs, and like 4 donuts. And I go to my colleagues and they were like, what the heck are you doing? It smells so much of food, because the bacon and everything get off that strong smell. They're like, we're feeling sick, what? And I'm like, breakfast. It's breakfast time. And they're like, what? No, it wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream. Yeah, so it was 5 a.m. and my colleagues like all like baggy eyes, they haven't slept, like one was sleeping I think, and I arrived with a plate of bacon and scrambled eggs and donuts and just eat my breakfast there. And yeah, I ate my breakfast and then that. Yeah, food gives me energy, I'm awake, what do we need to do in work now? When I first arrived, oh, what's the name of the animal? When I first arrived after sleeping, what's the name of this animal in English? I know the Portuguese name. Okay. What is your English name? Ah, okay. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I will try my best. So I was, when I arrived, I was, you can imagine, me grabbing my plate. And when I wake up, I usually go, like, eyes fully open. Like, I was so tired. If I wake up normally, no problem. But since I only slept 5 hours, I was so tired, my eyes were fully open, like this. No blinking. Just staring like this. And my friends just started laughing. And ever since then, I've been known as a meerkat. In Portuguese we call it suricata. Because this is how I was staring. I was like super, my body super straight, fully like back straight and everything. I look like a machine and my eyes fully open and blinking with a plate of bacon in my hand. And some scrambled eggs. So ever since then, when we're like, oh, what's your spirit animal? And they're like, oh, I'm a lion, I'm an eagle. Everyone says, oh, Nando is just a meerkat. And Nando is 100%, that's Nando's spirit animal. Great Nando lore. That's another thing that's funny. Being a VTuber makes me want to share stories a lot more. Stories like this. So yes, if you ever want to make a art like crossover between me and an animal, some people go for seals, some people go for owls. This would be a good reference for me to make me a meerkat. I mean, I could also be any animal that has a mustache. You need to find your Pumbaa. True. Looking like a machine at a hackathon sounds reasonable. Yeah, and with all of these stories, I do have to say, I contributed a lot to my team, and we did have a good performance. It's a good persona. Hello, Rabbit Mutt, welcome to the stream. Yeah, a meerkat would be a good persona for sure. But I did contribute, and I was the one doing the presentation. We had like a 3-minute pitch. You know, kind of, very business, very important people. But yeah, I had no idea what I was stepping into. If someone explained to me what a hackathon was before I got invited, I would never have said yes. It was fun because of food. It was like, at the end, it ended up being a good experience. And I did have a story to share on stream because of it. So it was good in that way. But that's not the kind of event for me. What is the kind of event for... I mean, anime conventions. I'm a beast at anime conventions. When I say I'm a beast, I mean at socializing. There's something about anime conventions that makes me go super yap mode. It doesn't matter what event I do online. It could be a Subathon, it could be... I could organize like the biggest tournament ever. No event grabs me more subscribers than an anime convention. I don't think I'm annoying, I hope so. But I just go so chatty mode, and I love talking to new people. And for example, sometimes Excelski drops by here, and he's also a Portuguese VTuber who streams on Twitch. I met him at an anime convention. So I do meet a lot of people who do stick around, and have a lot of great stories from... That's the event for me, anime conventions. I also like concerts. Like, especially concerts of things I specifically like. For example, Hatsune Miku and Ado and Blind Guardian last year were great events. But yeah, I'm not a huge event kind of person. One thing I do need to go one day is to an Age of Empires event. That's a good segue. Let me show you some pictures. Let me see if the website here has some official pictures of what an Age of Empires event is. And there's a new coming in March called The Garrison. And I'm like, I wish I could have gone, but I'm going to Canada already. I'm going to do a lot of traveling. And it's like, you need to pace yourselves. Traveling is fine, but you need to pace yourself. But I do wish to one day go to one of these events. I'm trying to see if I can find official pictures. I think 3 days is a sweet spot for conventions. 100% agree. And going with friends is the best. 200% agree. Then we plan to do stuff at the convention and outside of it. Yes, I like both things. When I'm in conventions, I'm a free spirit. When I'm with friends, I like to be with them a little bit, but I also like, okay, time to split off from the group and try to make conversation with some random people. And I mean, I've cosplayed, and me and a friend were both cosplaying from ReZero. I was cosplaying Betelgeuse Romani Conti, and cosplaying is also a great conversation starter. When I cosplayed Nekomata Okayu from Hololive, you can see near my head, I'm headbutting her figure. I cosplayed as Nekomata Okayu, and that just showed me how many VTuber fans are in Portugal. Because so many people were like, hey, you're Okayu, oh, my Oshi is Sakuramiko, oh, my Oshi is this and that. And if I wasn't cosplaying, how would I start a conversation? Oh, is this random person a Hololive fan? I have no idea. Since I was cosplaying Okayu, and it was recognizable, a lot of people were just like, oh, my favorite is this, my favorite is that, oh. And I was like, yeah, I'm cosplaying Okayu, she's not my Oshi, but I really like her content, and things like that. And it was a great conversation started, and cosplaying is based. If you go more towards the competitive side, or the social networking wars of cosplaying, because it's part of the cosplaying career, I think it can be quite fierce. If you do it as an amateur and to have fun time with friends, the community and everything, I only have good experiences with cosplay. People were super supportive, even talking to more professional cosplayers. They were like, they looked at me and they were like, you look like you're having fun. Who cares? You're not a professional. Who cares about that? Just have fun. That's what cosplaying is all about. I'm not saying that all cosplayer communities are positive. I was just lucky that all of my encounters with cosplaying communities so far were extraordinarily positive. And even some cosplayers I've met then went on to their streams, because a lot of cosplayers are streamers, and they're like, oh, I've talked to this guy and he was really supportive and wholesome. The Nando was there at the con and it was really... And I'm like, my Kokoro, I'm so happy. Even just wearing whole life merch starts a lot of conversations at cons. Yes, 100%. And here in Portugal, VTubing is still very small. It is growing a lot. I think if you talked to me about 2 years ago, I could tell you, oh, there's like 10 VTubers in Portugal. Now, I think there's a lot, honestly. I think a lot of them are hidden, and I think a lot of people don't realize that X, Y, and Z VTubers are Portuguese. I think I personally, I don't know all of them, but I should know, I probably know like 10 or 15 Portuguese VTubers. Exactly, Krantos, same. I've also heard very harsh things about cosplaying communities. And also, I mean, Portugal is small, so just because something is a phenomena in the international cosplaying community doesn't mean it is a phenomena here. But I do think there's probably also... it's one thing that I will always defend, is that every single community, every single group will always have good and bad people. Like, always. It is inevitable. It is just about how you navigate through that group. I do often say that Age of Empires is wholesome, but there's also not wholesome people here. It is also your job as an individual to try and navigate the workings of the group. Yeah, 10 to 15 is already a good bunch. Just from the top of my head, I can think about Maru, Zumu, of course Nova, Marikyun, Atarieo, Nemuribun. Yeah, there's quite a bit, and if I stop talking, thinking a little bit more, there are more Portuguese VTubers. Every community has bad apples, exactly. And sometimes closing your eyes to the bad apples, pretending that a community is perfect, will just proliferate the negativity. You have to sometimes accept. It's one thing to accept, it's another thing to endorse. I can accept that there are bad apples, I do not endorse the bad apples. But that's another topic. Okay, yeah, the one type of event I've never been to would be an Age of Empires event. And there's the Garrison right now, and for example, the Garrison, the Age of Empires event, will have cosplays. Arbase, I've showed it on stream here before. He's one of the admins from Age of Empires. He will be cosplaying as a Celt unit from Age of Empires. And in Red Bull Wululu, El Renado, there were like people cosplaying as units. I don't know what is okay to show on stream or not. Okay, this seems nice. These are pictures that are publicly on Reddit. Yes, this button. Yeah, and you just see, this is an Age of Empires event. People are there to watch Age of Empires. This was in Spain. I was going to go to this event, but I couldn't. But you just see, like, for example, this is Hera meeting some fans, giving autographs. Everyone just having a good time. Tato, this was in Spain and this is a Spanish player. You see the sets and everything. See the fans, like, cheering, and that's the thing. You go to an event like this, you know, everyone that's there is there because of Age of Empires. And I'm not the biggest veteran of the Age of Empires community. I've seen people go through these pictures and they say, oh, this guy created that map. Oh, this guy is actually that caster. This guy is a community moderator for this and that. Like, those who know this community end up knowing a lot of people there. This is the Viper here and MBL. A lot of famous names. Yeah, people even watch. This is like people who gather in the cafe to watch football, but they're all watching Age of Empires. This is so cool for me, who am an Age of Empires nerd. And this is also to show people that, of course, a lot of my content is Age of Empires, and it is an intimidating game. But I think once you go to an event like this, like, everyone can enjoy this. Like, people enjoying their passion, having a good time, being on cosplay, getting excited over a game or this or that. I think even if you're not into Age of Empires, you can understand the hype of this. For example, I'm not that into League of Legends. I play, but I'm not into the pro scene. I know nothing about the pro scene. I see one of those opening ceremonies from League of Legends Worlds, and they are so cool. They are so insanely cool. I don't need to be inside of the fan base to understand how cool they are. And if someone invited me to, oh, let's go watch a League of Legends final live in a stadium, even if I don't know the players, I'll be like, yeah, let's go! I love events. I also like staying at home and having chill, but I like breaking the routine. And that's one thing that I want from growing in the Age of Empires world. I feel like I'm still part of the community. I'm a community caster and everything. I want to take the next step, and probably it will be something only when I can do a full-time commitment to streaming, and then start getting invited even to collaborate with those events. First as a guest, and then, hey Nando, wanna cast the round of 16? Well, this and that caster are busy, and I'm like, yes, I don't care if I'm in like the worst seat at the worst slot, doing the worst matchup, and no one is watching. I'm part of a big event. That is one of my ambitions, and I do think it is going to be good for Age of Empires also, if I could be like the VTuber of Age of Empires. Oh, I'm going to show you a video as well, not going to show you the actual video and the music and everything. But I've said that the Paradox community is way more VTuber oriented than the Age of Empires community for now. I do believe VTubing will grow in Age of Empires, but it's still in its infancy, and I hope to be a contribution towards the growth of VTubing in Age of Empires, like becoming something more normal. I don't want me to be special for being a VTuber in Age of Empires. I want this to be the normality. And let me find a song here. There was a time when you opened when you literally opened Europa Universalis, the Paradox VTubers showed up. VTubers who produce content for the game. And let me see if I can find a song. Yes! Oh, I don't think it will capture like this. How can I put this in a good way? Will it work like this? Let me remove audio just to be sure. Yeah, and this is a music video from the Paradox side of things. Let me see if it's working. Oh, it's working, but it's big. But okay, I'm covering part of it. This is like a music video. The content creators are singing a song. These are streamers from Paradox, and they are singing a song related to the game. They're each doing their own thing, singing, and it's not like a super complicated, like super advanced music production. And if you go forward, you do have the Paradox VTubers, and this is a Paradox official event, and you have Corbett singing, and if you go a little bit further, you have my VTuber Papa, Lady Saffron, singing as well. Yeah, I know this, and I'm also ignorant when it comes to Paradox. A lot of people comment like, oh, this game has that feature and this game has this feature. I'm ignorant when it comes to Paradox games. I'm definitely not an expert, but I understand a bit about VTubers. And yeah, they they were showcased on the launcher of the game, and we do see official Paradox videos. This is on the official Paradox account, and we see VTubers there, and I want VTubers to also be more common. Oh, Stellaris! I've heard a lot about Stellaris. And yes, this is the artist who rigged my model. I'm moving because of Lady Saffron, who is here singing as well. This video is kind of a meme thing, but it does show the integration of VTubing within the Paradox side of strategy games. I use Paradox because there are also strategy games like Age of Empires, but the community is very different. But yeah, I never played Stellaris. And I do know Paradox games, and I do know that most of them you have to sink your life into it. Okay, now I have an answer. I'm trying to look into a design, not sure if I ever get to study something. Ooh, as a VTuber? That would be interesting. I could give you some tips. I'm not an expert, but I am a VTuber at least. I know that Civ 7 sponsored a lot of great history-related YouTubers to talk about the release of the game. Not sure if any VTubers were included. Yeah, in Civ 7 you had the biggest YouTubers like Potato McWhiskey and Spiffing Brit and some others participating in a huge event, and you also had some channels like Tasting History, Epic Rap Battles of History, doing some promos for the event. And now, because Lori just brought up Stellaris, I need to explain one thing to Lori. Okay, I'm in the right screen. See here, Lori, that you're in the lead bracket and you're not in the copper bracket? You said that you're not climbing. Now I understand. You play Stellaris. You have no time for anything else. So, that's why you can't climb up. You're spending your entire life in Stellaris. That's why your elo is locked. Yeah, trying to look at how Honey Goblin set up her stuff. She's an art VTuber who sometimes makes and rigs models explaining the how. Yeah, fortunately, there's a lot of options nowadays. There's, of course, if you want the best stuff, it does, like, the price also goes up. But nowadays, for example, there are a lot of streamers who stream using open source models. There are models where you just have to, you can customize them. There's a lot of options. But of course, the more quality you want, usually the higher the price goes. I only have 427 hours in Stellaris. Yeah, knowing that game, you're probably an amateur with only 400 hours. I think in those games, to start being kinda good, you need to play like 2000 hours. Start learning the basics. And yes, more VTubers is always great. The price, the higher the price or the higher the work... Oh, the higher the price. Except if you... Oh, Lori. That was me in the past. Fun story. I've talked about this story before, but I'm going to talk again. I debuted as a FlashTuber, as a non-VTuber, 2 years ago. And why did I start as a FlashTuber? I wanted to be a VTuber. Basically, I was doing every single thing by myself. I was the DIY guy. And there's so much that goes into VTubing, and I was also super perfectionist. And things were... I worked like for 6 months on my model, and it was hard work. It was not me just watching things. No, it was hard work. And I was so far from finishing. There's so much to do, and I was like, no, I want to start being a streamer. I'm going to be a FlashTuber, and now I just hired people. That said, Lady Saffron, the one who made my rigging, is the opposite. She, when she debuted, she did it all by herself. She succeeded where I failed. So if I'm a story of do not DIY, do not do it yourself, I'm a story, my story is do not do it. After I hired people, everything went a lot better, and I was afraid of hiring people. And I was afraid of hiring people, I was afraid of what you just said. Will I enjoy the model? Will I enjoy the outcome? Will I enjoy the art style? Because it is also a lot of trust that you put into the people you are working with. And if you're not experienced, I was not experienced, I still am not experienced, it is hard to take those steps. But for me, I'm clearly someone, because of my personality, because of how I work, because I'm already spread way too thin. For me, it was 100% the best call to commission. But yeah, Lady Saffron did it all by herself, and she's, in my book, a super successful VTuber. So there is no correct answer. I was going to start by telling you, oh, do not do it yourself. But actually, I've changed my mind halfway through the speech. I think, yeah, as Kratos said, you can do it. Just bear in mind that it is not easy, but you do not seem like that, you do not strike me as the kind of person who underestimates how hard something can be. And there's a lot of tutorials as well nowadays, there's a lot of information of how things are done. And also, that can, starting to do it yourself can also be a start of a new career, because VTubing is in demand, it is growing, and Lady Saffron learned everything to do it for herself, and now I commissioned her. So, if you gain the skills to do your own model lorry, you can also start developing and honing your skills, and who knows, maybe people will hire you for rigging. Lorry is an owl and dragon, kind of a combination. Ooh. Interesting. But where's Shikanoko Noko Noko Koshtantan? Where's Nokotan? I'm just joking, I'm just joking. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, no need to rush it. And find many inspirations. A lot of people are like, oh, I need to create something from, like, by myself. I do not want to copy. Copy is very different from finding references. You see a lot of artists who create their own stuff. They are 100% originals. And you see their reference sheets. One image that you see from them had like 40 different references that they were getting inspiration from. You can get inspiration. I feel like a lot of up-and-coming artists shoot themselves in the foot because they focus so much on originality that they are not doing the process correctly. And I do agree with that, finding the correct combinations. I'm very happy with my design. Nokotan is great, but there are maybe 30 in the animal kingdom. I understand, I understand. And that is, I never revealed here in public, and I won't do it today, maybe one day in the future. I don't reveal the model I made for myself. I was doing the art, preparing the live 2D and everything, so I do know a little bit about how it works. And since I work with 3D in engineering and technical drawing, those skills also helped a bit. But the model that I created for myself was not me. I look at it now and I would not be comfortable in that model, even though I created it. This model was created by two artists that I commissioned. They do not know me personally. They are not my friends who I've met for ages. No, they are business connections. And they captured me spectacular. I love the job. I could have not, like, my own vision would not have made me as close to myself as they were able to portray. That's why I'm so happy. Owls, otters, and deers. Where's the meerkats? You are not here. But this is my spirit animal. We are the same. Yeah, you need to add meerkats to your top list of animals. But yeah, I've been today, like, I had my topics prepared and things start going like with the flow and everything. I yapped for quite a bit and I had a great time. I felt like I needed a yap session. I felt like, oh, a lot of things have been happening, I need to talk. And I'm glad I scheduled this stream to be a yap session because this felt great tonight. Especially a reason I won't invest into it. I don't know what I want. Oh, yes. But I'm not an entertainer who can see a model as an investment. Yeah, it is not easy. For example, even me, like, it's one thing if I was already monetized and it's like, I paid this with channel money. I'm not monetized yet. This was a personal investment, and it was on one end a business investment, of course, but also a personal enjoyment level of investment. This is something I did to have fun. This is the equivalent of maybe someone, I mean, the price is not the same, but someone who buys a good coat, or someone who buys a pair of shoes because they love them, or buys a new car, or because they are into cars. This, for me, that was this type of investment. It was like, you see the merch behind me. I like to have things I like. I spend a lot of instruments. Oh yeah, that is super common. I know a lot of my friends are music people. I am music people. I have my guitars. I never played on stream, but I will do it one day. I've played guitar for 23 years. Yes, I've played a lot of guitar. I've given concerts and everything. And a lot of my friends are also music nerds, bassists. Oh, a shamisen! I would love to have a shamisen as well. I would love to have, but they are very expensive, a violin. I know it's super hard, but I love violins. I see the anime characters that are very noble with a violin, like in Hunter x Hunter. I would love to have a violin. Music is my biggest investment, so I get it. Yeah, I learned the violin. Damn, yeah, violin is one of my favorite instruments. And drums. But it's also because I don't have many things I want to spend my money in. Yeah, and that's something I often say to everyone. It's like, it's your money. Do not. It's one thing if you're spending other people's money, but it's your money. As long as it brings you joy. I need to dust off my saxophone. Damn! Whenever I hear shamisen, I only think of Father. Do you remember your Shalzin? I need to stream Warframe one day. I really wanted to learn violin when I was 16 and playing Halo 3. Yeah, I started guitar as a kid and then electric guitar. Played a lot of metal like Iron Maiden, Metallica. I was that kind. Played some Dream Theater as well. I remember playing Pantera. I remember playing a lot of stuff. Learned a lot of guitar during the pandemic. During the pandemic, what I did was get obsessed into VTubers and learn Japanese. I started learning Japanese because I wanted to understand the VTuber streams. And now, boku wa nihongo ga hanasemasu. Hai. Nihongo benkyou shimashita. Boku no nihongo wa mada jouzu janai demo ganbatte imasu. Hai hai hai. Some learn guitar. Frets feel like cheating after violin being my first string instrument. Yeah, I can 100% imagine that. It's like wheels, the kid training wheels on the bikes. It's like you learn how to ride like downhill on a bike and then you go back to training wheels because you transition from violin to guitar. But yeah, I have a lot of friends who are. Yeah, and we do see Kratos and King Ameno already talking about it. I have a lot of friends who are into music and buy a lot of instruments or play a lot of instruments. And it is an investment. I bought a Japanese language book as a kid, same time as Tolkien Elfish ones. I learned more Elfish than Japanese. Yeah, I said it in my debut. I can speak English, falo português, hablo espanhol, e Nihongo ga hanasemasu. I do not speak Elfish yet. And I do have Japanese classes as well, and I do listen to a lot of Japanese music, which helps. In the car, I sometimes have to drive, and when I'm very tired, my way of fighting sleepiness, because sleepiness on the driving wheel is very dangerous, I crank up the music to the max, and I just sing Japanese songs. I sing JoJo openings while I'm driving. Sono chino sarame. And a lot of my driving is in the highway, so I can just scream as loud as I want. JoJo. Nowadays I'm just a hobbit anyway. I can't speak it either, I just spend more time with it. I understand, I understand. And that's one thing. Like, fictional languages, people put so much work into them and they are so amazing. I always think about Klingon from Star Trek is very famous. There's Dothraki from Game of Thrones. Of course, Tolkien is the fictional language guy. If you want fictional languages like Elfish or anything, Tolkien is your go-to. Without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. He was an expert in that. But yeah. Just chatting streams do take more out of my vocal cords than any other stream type. So I think this is around a good time to call it for today. I did have a very good time and I'm glad to everyone who joined me here today. And for this week, we only have one more stream. It's gonna be this Friday and it's gonna be my first time casting T90 Titans League Community Edition. I still don't know which matches I will cast. Luckily, the community is being super active. There's a lot of casters covering a lot of sets. So I don't know which sets will be free when I reach there, but there are bound to be free sets. And I will catch some 2 or 3 of them. It will be a solo cast. I presume, I mean, if T90 wants to come, I will say okay. But at least it's planned to be a solo cast. We'll see if there's any surprise. And that's going to be this Friday. And then next week, we'll have Dark Souls again. We'll have more Age of Empires casting. And my karaoke stream on Friday. That's gonna be interesting. But this was fun. And thanks for joining me. A lot of names dropped by along the way. Some joined and left. It's the nature of things. Always glad to have you here. Always glad also to have people watching the VOD, leaving comments, liking and subscribing. It's always a pleasure. Streaming can be done alone. I don't need viewers to stream, but it is better. Do you have a link to the Friday event? Yes, the Friday stream. I have for the Age of Empires stream. This is the waiting room for the stream. And if you want more information on the tournament itself, this is usually it's through a Discord. This is more information on the tournament, and I'm also going to link the handbook for the tournament. I'm going to link everything. Yeah, if you just want to know how the tournament works, this is the handbook. And thanks for showing interest, Rabbit Mutt. Yeah, it's going to be... Yeah, but the first link will be my stream, my coverage of this community event. Thank you very much for everyone who dropped by here today. As I was saying, you can stream alone, but streaming with people is a lot more fun. And thank you for dropping by. I hope our conversation was pleasant. For me it was. I hope it was also pleasant to listen to. I'm TheNando. I've been having a great time lately, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye everyone, and have a great night or evening or morning, depending on where you are. Bye bye!